Yeah. See, it looks way better on yours. Hey guys, how you doing? Patrick Donovan from Weichert Realtors with
Kim Watson with SWBC Mortgage.
And the thing is, we're starting our new show today.
Yes.
And today's topic is going to be the 5 mistakes that home buyers make. Now, there's probably a dozen of mistakes, that there may be hundreds of mistakes they make. But like when I was first buying a home, I think I made every single one of these mistakes.
A lot of people do, so it's not uncommon. So we're going to try to help you avoid the pitfalls I think that we all went through when we were buying houses for the first time.
I'll tell you the one real mistake I made the last time when I was buying a house in Virginia. You remember me telling you the story?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the mistakes is you need to research the real estate agent that you are hiring, for one. So I'm in Virginia, right? We are convinced that we're going to retire in Virginia. Just what we thought we were going to do. You know, me and my wife were like, we have a house in Savannah because we loved it here too, but we wanted to retire in Virginia when I got out of the military. So we convinced ourselves we need to buy a house. So I don't even remember how we found this real estate agent. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember how it happened. Anyway, I'm not going to give her name because...
Protect the innocent?
Yes.
Not so innocent.
So, and anybody that was with me in Virginia remembers this this story. But so I go to the office, I sign the buyer brokerage agreement, what you need to do when you're buying a home. We sign the buyer brokerage agreement, we're going to go look at homes. So she's in her office, she says, hey, go in the car, I'm going to ride with you guys, because my wife is super pregnant this time, and my son is 3. So we're not going to be riding with her, obviously. So she's like, I'll meet you guys out in the car. I just got to take care of something real quick. So we go into the car. I'm in the driver's seat. My wife's sitting there. We're sitting there staring at the front door. 10 minutes go by.
Oh, no.
Right? I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Why is it taking so long to come from the front? Now, it's about a 50-meter walk from the front door. She's not coming. And then another 5 minutes go by. I'm like, what the heck? So I call her on the cell phone. No answer.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what the heck? I'm about to go inside. And then I take a look to my right.
Busting the house.
And she walks out with no pants on. Now this is a 65-year-old woman in the middle of Newport News, Virginia, probably the busiest street there. And she's walking about 50 meters with no pants on. And I look at her and I go, this can't be what I'm saying. This can't be right.
Yeah.
I asked my wife, what am I looking at right now? She looks and she's like, what the heck is going on? No pants. She walks up to the door. She leans on our window and we're just shocked at this point. But my son is back there, 3 years old. He doesn't know what he's looking at.
Bad enough. Lean in.
Yeah. And then just rest herself on the window, no pants. So she's like, I'm sorry, I spilled coffee on my pants. We're not going to be able to make it to go look at houses today. And I go, you could have just called me and I would have been able to, go, okay, I got it. But you don't have to demonstrate by not having pants on.
Maybe picking up the phone when you called would have been
optimal.
helpful hit number 1.
Yeah. So, I mean, just quick, that's one mistake. Make sure you research the real estate agent. And they don't have a pension for coming with their clothes off. That could be one tip.
You don't find that many bios in real estate, but maybe that's an idea to add to it.
Well, maybe
I always wear pants.
Yeah, that would be right.
Like what?
Oh yeah. Well, if you watch this video, then you know that it's a possibility that it could happen.
I think it's safe to say we always wear pants.
Yes, I wear pants. I mean, we're not rocking no pants right now just because you can't see. We are wearing pants. So
it's all on the up.
I just want to share that. Give some people some time to get on.
Good story, actually, because you can't hear it enough. Quite honestly,
No,
because I still
absolutely.
just picture this in my head. It's like something you can't unsee.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So. I think my son still remembers that he was 3. So I mean, Can you imagine? So anyway, let's move on to the reason why we're here. So if you don't know, obviously I'm the real estate agent. This is the
I'm the lender.
Okay. So We're just going to talk about 5 mistakes home buyers make
Mhm.
when buying a home, because we're here to educate. Like we said, we wanted a bunch of questions, okay, which we didn't get any questions. Did you get
No, in
questions?
time, I did not get any
Oh,
questions,
okay,
but
okay.
in time, we'll start getting some questions.
Yeah, I believe that
I'm
to be
confident.
true. Yeah, but you got the first one right. So
Yes, the first one of the most common mistakes is a borrower not getting pre-approved prior to going out and looking for homes, and it's such an important tool to have in your arsenal as far as getting pre-qualified, pre-approved. A lot of times buyers will pick up the phone, they'll call someone like yourself
mhm.
and say, hey, I want to go look at this house, but we have no idea who they are, what they've done. Not only is it a safety feature, I think, for you in
Yeah.
real estate, it's a huge safety feature for the borrower itself. So it gives us a chance to be able to sit down, talk with a borrower about budget, which is very important,
Okay,
what the monthly payment expectation is, so that way we can help educate.
that is a big part.
Is big, right? Because I think what some folks have is an idea of what a monthly payment they think it will be versus what it really is. So we can sit down and be able to have a good conversation around that. But the main part of it is to be able to talk about, what does the credit scenario look like?
Mm-hmm.
Is income there? Do we have enough income to qualify to be able to get the house that's being looked at?
Yeah.
And plus, it kind of turns you into more of a cash buyer, so to speak, where you've got all of your ducks in a row. And
Right.
if you've sent your lender your pay stubs and your W-2s and tax returns, anything that they need to see, that is going to speed up the process when you do find a house. It makes it so much more efficient.
Getting ahead of the game. And I'll tell you, the first thing that happens when I do a buyer consultation
Mhm.
with my pants on is I
Good.
make sure that I will call Kim and be like, hey, I got a potential buyer and they haven't worked with a lender yet. So I call up Kim, and just like the other day, I just call her up. And then she's really easy to get a hold of, by the way, so that's really good. So I called her up and said, hey, I got a buyer here, hasn't gone through a lender yet. We want to make sure we find out what her buying power is,
Yes.
so that she knows what she can afford when we're going, on the next step. Because the first step is pre-approval.
Yes.
If you don't do that, then we're not, how do you say? I don't feel like you're serious about buying a home.
Yeah. And
You
you
know
don't
what
want to fall behind in the process either. You're the first one to tell me how fast houses are selling these days.
Yeah.
A lot of these houses are on the market for a very short period of time, and they're
Right.
going under contract. So if you want to put in an offer and you've got to wait for a pre-approval, some pre-approvals can happen very, very quickly. Others might need a little bit of time to be able to verify some more information. So without knowing the circumstance, you could be putting yourself at risk of losing the house that you really fell in love with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And speed is of the essence. I also tell the buyers that we need to be prepared.
Yes.
If you fall in love with a home, we need to snap it up quick.
Yep, absolutely.
We got Laura Reno. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
She got a question. So, I really want to buy a home, but I don't have 20% to put down. Are there any options for me?
There's a lot of options, and that's actually a really good question. I think that's one of the bigger myths out there right now, is some people feel like they have to have 20% down. There's programs that are running right now with down payment assistance for 0 down, and there's some as low as 3%, 3.5%. So that's, again, the important part of pre-qualification. We can go through all of the programs that you would qualify for at that time, but yeah, you don't have to have 20% down.
Oh, all right. Looks like Sharon said hi to Kim.
Hi, that's my mom.
All right. So the second mistake that one of the second mistakes that people make is trying to find perfection in a home. Now, obviously, everybody wants the perfect home.
Yeah.
There's no one wants to live in something they're settling for, obviously. But I mean, there's three main reasons, or three main things that home buyers are looking for when it comes to a home, which is location, size, and obviously price. Can you afford it?
Yes.
Do you have the buying power that Kim pre-approved you for, and all that stuff? So, but trying to find perfection, you got to understand, when we go through the buying process in the beginning, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, mainly so I know how to help you. Because if I guess effectively, I know that the likelihood of us finding all the things that hit your buying needs are not. It's not going to happen. It's just.
Hmm.
I mean, unless you build your own home, which sometimes I do advocate for too. If you have to have that perfect home
Right.
in the perfect area, then maybe building is the option that you need to take. So I would say, do not think of the most important thing, and then just prioritize.
Right.
Just like anything. I mean, I would love to have a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? But the price is not right where I need it to be, so maybe I'll go with something a lot cheaper. But what is the importance of the car or the house in this instance? So that's just another mistake that sometimes buyers will make, looking for something perfect. All right, you got the next one.
I do have the next one, and that is things to avoid once you've been pre-approved. And these are a few pitfalls that, sadly, I think we've all seen over the years of doing this line of work. One of the main ones that we tend to see is opening new credit cards. We absolutely want to avoid that. It's not saying that you can't do it, but consult your lender before doing it.
Absolutely. I had buyers that possibly in a position when they're wanting to buy a new home, right? Mm-hmm. And they're selling their old home and might need money to go make repairs.
Yes.
And so I personally called the lender and said, hey, okay, if they need to open a credit card, is it going to hurt them? Because we don't want to be killing the deal if we end up, for instance, open a credit card to go fix these problems and it causes other problems where they lose the next home.
Right.
And you said you've seen this before?
Oh, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with credit cards. I've seen it happen with with auto loans. Someone goes out and buys a new car. They're 2 weeks away from closing, and they have completely just thrown their approval out the window because now they no longer qualify with the income that we have to support not only the new house payment, but now a new car payment, which most times has been increased. So I have seen that sadly come across our desk. We try to warn everyone of the things not to do. I love getting phone calls from my buyers that constantly ask, do you mind if I do this? Can I do that? I would so much rather pick up that phone call in the evening or on the weekend and counsel them on that versus just having them go out and do it.
I mean, and the same thing, like I can imagine a situation where they're buying a brand new home or something like that, and they want to get a new refrigerator or they want to get a dish or washer dryer. So when they move in, everything's good to go.
Yes.
But that's where you talk to your lender to make sure you can. I threw a new refrigerator, dishwasher, washer and dryer on my Home Depot credit card, and then you could lose new stuff for the old home you were living in. So.
Or my favorite meme that goes around the internet, which is sad but very true, and it's hysterical. But it's the one. It's like, you mean to tell me you threw away your clear to close to get 20% off at Kohl's? And that's true. Like somebody goes in to buy $100 worth of stuff to get 20% off, and that could just throw their approval completely out the window.
Yeah. So no shopping sprees either.
Yeah. And don't change jobs. That's another one that happens too. I'm not saying you can't do it, but again, let your lender know. The more we know as a lender of what your future plans are within this closing window, the better off we're going to be able to handle those situations if and when they come up.
Well, absolutely. And being completely forthright and honest with everybody in the process. Yes. Not only the lender, but also me.
Yes.
I'm trying to help you buy a home. I need to know where you're at. Mm-hmm. What kind of loan you got. Where we're at, like all those things. Mm-hmm. The lender can't tell me a lot of information because it's personal information. So
protected.
I have to get it from you, the buyer. So the lender's gonna look at me like, I can't tell you those things. Sorry.
You just talk to him. Yeah.
You're gonna have to guess. I mean, I don't have crystal balls and all that stuff. So being honest with everybody during the process, because like I said, and like she said, we want to find the perfect home.
Absolutely.
And then we lose it because we're not being honest and forthright. Now, I'm not saying there's a bunch of deceptive people out there. I don't want to give you that impression, but
what seems little, I think, to someone or insignificant could be significant, I think, is the point we're trying to make.
Exactly.
That you just don't know. So it's better just to get it all out there.
Like I changed my job, but you didn't tell me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it can be insignificant. It could be something that doesn't cause any bump in the road at all. But we want to know that.
Just honest and forthright in everything we do that will make it a whole lot easier for everybody and smooth out the process. Yeah. Because you're hiring me to make it smooth. So it's just sharing everything with me and, the lender, obviously.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to get to the bottom of it. I can't I don't have access to all that information.
One way or another, it tends to always kind of come out. It's like skeletons in any closet. It may take a while, but it always tends to kind of show up. So if we know it ahead of time, we kind of know what we need to do to circumvent that. So
yeah. The next mistake a lot of people, because buying a home, there are costs involved in buying a home.
Yes.
Closing costs, you got appraisals, you've got inspections. The biggest thing is when you're buying a resale home or even a new home, if you feel like you need to be sure that the builder is doing a good job, is in getting the home inspected. I mean, like I said before, and you may have seen my other videos where it could look perfect on the outside, right? And then when you have the inspector go to the home, they find all kinds of deficiencies that you weren't ready for. I think it's worth the $250 to $500 to inspect the home so that you're not buying something that's basically falling apart before you get it.
Yeah.
So
no one wants a money pit.
No, absolutely not. And that home inspection, we have plenty of home inspectors that we use it all the time. So, and contractors and all those things that can help with the process. But if you're like, I just want to save this $500, I think you're making a humongous mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting the home inspected is another mistake that buyers trying to save a couple $100 make. I do not suggest that. And what's the last one?
The absolute last one we have is local versus national. So this is a topic I think near and dear to both of our hearts.
Yes, absolutely.
In the lending world, I think that there's a lot of, really great companies out there. So I don't ever want to say that this is a bad thing to do, but I think that there's some significant differences in using someone local versus using a national company, especially in the lending arena. For my own personal take on it, I think, technology is incredibly important in what we all do, and it's there to stay, and we all either have to embrace it or we're going to kind of go extinct if we don't. I feel like, especially in my world, technology is great when you balance it, when you still have that personal touch, because there's only so much information you can put into an online application.
Right.
And a lot of my borrowers start online. I had 2 last night that, after hours, it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, we're going online, filling out the information. But to me, that's just a starting point.
Right.
With other lenders, that just might be the end all where they can say, oh, I got pre-approved, but it's only as good as the information being input. None of it's being verified. And when you have questions at 7 o'clock at night, weekend, who's going to call?
It's not the Ghostbusters.
No. No.
And with that, it comes to the same thing. It's, like she said, we're not trying to downplay Quicken and all those places, but you just got to understand, when you're going to a big corporation like that, you're going to get a different person on the phone every time. Every time you talk to, you call because you have a question, you got to take in paperwork or you got to fax it somewhere or something like that. There's a lot of places where stuff can get misplaced. Someone didn't see an email, any type of thing. And if you use a local lender like Kim, and maybe, I don't think this would ever happen with you, but any local lender in town, and you can actually call them and they will be the one answering the phone.
Absolutely.
Or I can call them for you if they're not getting back to you, and then they will answer the phone. And they're here. I can just drive to their office if I have to, or you can drive to their office if they have to.
Right.
And it just makes the lending process a lot easier, I think, when you're using someone local. And
it's less scary. I mean, when you can get any question answered, the one thing I think I've always told you, and I tell everybody that I work with, is, I don't want somebody to sit and kind of stew over a question that they have over the weekend. It's just not productive.
Because they're probably worried that they're going to be waiting on hold for an hour to get somebody to answer the
or
question.
They can't get somebody to answer the question. And it's just, it's one of those things. And I think knowledge is power. And it's partially why we're doing this. And, answering these questions and getting this information out there. But the one-on-one time is so important.
Huge. And like Kim says, and she's pointing out exactly, knowledge is power. And we try to put the power back into your hands.
Yep.
When you are able to, what you're talking about, when you go to talk to, even if it's not me as a realtor, I want everybody to be happy. That's my goal.
Yes.
You know, my clients. If you go to somebody else and you say, hey, you know what I told you, then the real estate agent is going to be more likely to be a little bit more compliant or whatever. And the same thing with the lending world. If you're trying to call Quicken, you're like, and they're telling you all this stuff, and you know because you watched our show that what they're saying to you is wrong, then you more likely it gives you more power. So
Absolutely.
You got anything else?
I don't think so. I think I'm, as far as that topic goes, do you have anything else you wanted to cover?
I would talk about the Super Bowl, but then I'd just be upset. But
I didn't even watch it.
I didn't want to.
I didn't watch it. Not one commercial.
You didn't watch the commercials?
Nope. Well, because I figured I'd get it all after the fact, and I just wasn't into. I mean, I know now I'm going to get struck down, but I wasn't into the game. Like I just wasn't into who was playing. I mean, first of all, the Patriots have knocked down the Colts how many times?
Yeah,
so
we're both
that is
Colts
what
fans,
it is.
So I mean, it's been painful.
That kind of says it all.
Yeah, basically. I ended up watching it. You didn't miss much, though. You
Okay.
didn't miss much. I mean, as most people will tell you, you didn't miss much.
I know.
It was a very, very slow-paced game. I did like the defense, but obviously I didn't like the outcome. So.
No, it was.
But, hey, don't get mad because we're saying this. All right? If you're a
These are
Patriots
our
fan,
own personal thoughts
Yes.
and do not convey.
yeah, we will still help you if
Disclaimer.
you're a Patriots fan. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Okay? But I just want to say thank you all for joining us. We're going to try to do this every week. The biggest thing that we want is questions from you. Now,
Absolutely.
I can come with topics all day. You guys can watch. But it'd be better if you have questions to give them to us.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is if you have questions and you post it, even if you didn't watch this live, you might be catching it on the the flip side after it's already been posted.
Yep.
Put the questions there. Next week we'll answer them. I promise
Absolutely.
you, if you have questions that you post on our pages, we will answer them.
Yep.
No doubt.
And we can build a whole topic around it. So I mean, if there's one topic that you want more details on as well, just shoot it at us and we'll cover it.
And if you want your name out there, we can put your name and say, hey, I want to be recognized. I'll bring your name up on here.
Or we'll keep you private. Either way you want to go.
If you want to shout out to people, we put that on. I don't care. We're open to anything. We're open to anything.
We aim to please.
So thank you once again for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you next week at 9 a.m.
See you Tuesday.
All right. Bye.
Bye.